Hey Paulo, how are you? Uh, this might be another boring presentation for you. Although my voice and my presentation are bored, I made a few interesting slides, and I'll finish it as soon as possible. There are 4 parts in my presentation. The first one is why I chose the VNA project. The second is how VNA project organized. The third is the success of the VNA project. The last one is the prospect of the VNA. Well, why I choose this? Because I can't imagine Dundee cost £80 million to build a VNA museum. That's double the budget. And also there are only 115,000 people in this city with a very high unemployment rate. I can't understand it, why they do that. It's a really expensive project, and it's non-perfect project. This peaceful and quiet city did a very crazy and ambitious things. I'm quite interested in it, and so I chose it. Well, as for how the VNA project is organized, honestly, the information about the detail of VNA project is really little on the internet. Well, according to this scant disclosure, at the very beginning of this project, the VNA steering group was established in March 2008. A year later, VNA project was listed as an important project and stood out of the Waterfront Master Plan. It's the most important project for the Waterfront Master Plan. And in September 2009, Dundee City Council Policy and Resources Committee took out £13,000 to fund the VNA project. Shortly after the granting, in January 2010, just a few months later, Design Dundee Company Limited was established, and this company is for the VNA project, and they hold its first shareholders meeting. However, Dundee City Council leads the project, and the Design Dundee Company is responsible for overall planning. Turner and Townsend is responsible. That's a company is responsible for the project management, and BAM, another company, is the main contractor. And the quality surveyor is responsible for CBA, another company, and RAP, another company, is responsible for M&E consultants and structural energy. Therefore, the Dundee City Council decided, shortly speaking, that is, the structure is like this. The Dundee City Council decided to do this project and then set up a group specialized for this project. And in this case, this specialized group finally become to a company, maybe for better managing money and operation, and then they seeking a different construction for different work, and establish the external audit, risk committee, and other department to better assess the project. Honestly, it's quite a common way for a project. Well, I think Dundee V&A Museum project is quite successful. Oh well, firstly I must to say I ran out of all my PowerPoint skill, so the last 3 slides is quite simple. Yes, no worry, just 3 slides left. I must to say, the Dundee V&A Museum is quite successful, as during this project, the local subcontractor were hired, and on average, more than half of the local workforce is employed on site. This has made an important contribution to the employment and economic development of the city, especially for this city, because Dundee have very high unemployment rate. And besides this, it is expected to attract 500,000 people per year. And in fact, after the opening of the V&A Museum, there are 27,000 people were visiting just in 1 week. If this continues, the number of visitors in the first year will reach 1.5 million. The museum is expected to create 300 permanent jobs by 2020. This can greatly reduce the high unemployment rate in Dundee area. Therefore, the V&A project is not only brought job to the local community during the construction period, but also provide more jobs after finish building this. And besides that, the project will increase Dundee economic by £11.6 million per year. So for the future of Dundee V&A, I think the bubble effect is impossible. Promoting Dundee's development cannot passively rely on this effect. They should learn from successful experience. The National Palace Museum is a good example of learning, because the National Palace Museum has created 115 million yuan in product revenue in just 1 year, and this success can be emulated. What the Palace Museum does is to apply the aesthetic that people cannot touch the consumables, so the artworks that once royalty family member can buy become symbols that ordinary consumer can take home. For example, the lipstick of royal porcelain style shell and the mobile phone case with typical royal robes pattern. This is different from the products sold in ordinary museum. The products of the National Palace Museum are consumable, which means that consumers could purchase the same product repeatedly, which will bring great economic benefit. This kind of behavior of the museum undoubtedly narrows the distance between the visitors and the exhibit, and it's also made the art and the culture, which is difficult for ordinary people to touch, into consumers' life. Although Dundee V&A Museum does not have royalty feature like the Palace Museum, V&A Museum has great advantage. That is the most significant contemporary design museum in Scotland, which is supported by Dundee Contemporary Art, Scottish Enterprise, University of Dundee, Abertile University, etc. The museum can imitate the success method of Palace Museum. Due to the change and the prospect of contemporary art, it is easy to go beyond the success of the Palace Museum. Dundee can build its own brand and use the V&A Museum to commercialize contemporary art for the average consumer. This will not only increase the consumption of visitors, but also promote the cultural prosperity of Dundee and make Dundee the centre of art and culture in Scotland. In addition, if commercial artworks are from local manufacturers, that can increase employment and financial income. That's all. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Thank you very much. Hey, Polo, how are you?